Welcome back to another episode of Kicking It with Coach Red, where we bring you all the news, stories, takes, and opinions about your favorite teams from the Pacific Northwest, from the good to the bad to the
The
Mariners.
Mariners getting one day closer every day. One day closer.
Down at spring training, getting loose as a goose. We already have our first injury update from spring training. Taylor Trammell,
Taylor.
broken hamate bone, out a minimum of 7 weeks. So if you are cool, maybe you'll before we get there, maybe you'll hop over to the at Coach Red Pod on Twitter and vote in a poll with Haggerty possibly being shelved, with Trammell going to be out. There's a few options for guys that might have inroads to make the team. Vote for who you think, and we'll talk about it on an episode. How about that?
Yeah. Got it.
But before we talk about that, big game this last weekend between the Chiefs and the Eagles. It was a bowl. It was a Super Bowl, if you will. And the Seahawks are our team, and they've been to 3 Super Bowls. So we want to get in a little late Super Bowl action, and we are going to give you a mega roster of players
Mm-hmm.
for the Seahawks that played in the Super Bowl. We're going to have 2 episodes, an offensive episode and a defensive episode. Before we jump into any of that, if you're looking for someone that can crush a Super Bowl of chili in one sitting, might be me, your boy, Coach Red. You can find me on Twitter at the real Coach Red, on Instagram at the real underscore Coach Red. And while you're at it, hop on over to the YouTube, which is getting pretty popular, at the real Coach Red, or just search Kicking It with Coach Red. Hammer the likes, thumbs up, bell notifications, whatever your heart desires, and hell, even leave a comment. Why don't you?
Yeah. Do it all.
If you are looking for someone that loves two bowl,
Mm-hmm.
strike master supreme, maybe you are looking for Lefty France.
Yep. What up, peeps? Follow me on Twitter at Lefty France, on Instagram at DFrance13. Go over and follow the pod as well at Coach Red Pod on Twitter and Instagram. Follow us, follow us, follow us. Do it, freaking do it.
And if you're looking for someone that will smoke his opponents in a debate, maybe you'd be looking for Killingcain.
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter at Killingcain and YouTube at Killingcain.
All right. Well, defense wins championships, but chicks dig offense. So we're going to start with offense because, hey, life's short. So go on and live it because the chicks dig it, right? Right.
Always got to do with the chicks dig.
Okay. So what we're going to do, we're each going to tell you who our choice would be out of the given options. We took the starters in the Super Bowl, broke them down position by position. Some of these will go pretty quick with the unanimous vote. Sometimes there'll be a majority, and hell, there could even be a 3-way tie because they've been in 3 Super Bowls. There could be 3 players. If that happens, we all have to pitch our player to try and get someone to sway. So without much further ado, we will start with the quarterbacks. There were 2 that have started in a Super Bowl. Matt Hasselbeck in 05, and then Russell Wilson starting in back-to-back Super Bowls. Lefty France, who is your quarterback for your ultimate Seahawks Super Bowl team?
It's probably going to pain some people, but I got to go with Russell Wilson. Um, yeah, the Super Bowl pushes that they had with him, he was putting up MVP numbers, and you can't really disagree with that. He didn't get, I don't think he got a single MVP vote,
I think that
but
was a little before the MVP numbers, but he he
still,
he
he was,
played in a he was a well above average game manager at that point.
yeah. So I got to go with Russ, even
Cain,
though I don't like him anymore.
well, you can like him again. He helped us out.
Yeah.
One more time. Cain, where are you going?
Uh, I'm also going Russell Wilson. He had everything just perfect around him in the situations. he was putting up numbers, not for sure MVP numbers, but as you said, he was a great game manager and he used his legs a lot more back then. So it's like he was more of that true dual threat quarterback. What do you got, Red? Coach Red, sorry. Goodness gracious. You call somebody that their entire life and you get ridiculed for it.
I'm gonna have to say, if you drop 2 of those in an episode, I might have to put the explicit on here because I'm coming after you. I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson as well for some of the areas that you guys pointed out. Over 3,000 yards in both of those seasons. The second Super Bowl, he had over 800 yards rushing and put the ball in the end zone. So Russell Wilson, he is a little bit more versatile than Matt Hasselbeck was in the year they went to the Super Bowl. So Russell Wilson is the pick for the pod. All right. Next position is RB1. And we've got Sean Alexander and Marshawn Lynch. Lefty, where are you leaning?
Although I love Sean Alexander, I'm going with my boy Marshawn Lynch. Beast mode. He was such an electric and fun player to watch when he was with the Hawks and has one of the most iconic runs in NFL history, the Beast Quake. You got to go with Marshawn Lynch on this one.
Cain, where you got?
I'm also going Marshawn Lynch just because he was the ultimate red zone threat. Yeah, they didn't give it to him against the Patriots, but all in all, when you're in the red zone, you give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. 9 out of 10 times, he's most likely getting it in. So that's where I'm going. Coach Red, where are you going at the running back position?
I'm going to a player that had an MVP season. Legit, not shoulda, woulda, coulda been. An MVP season the year the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl. And I know that one of you was in middle school and one of you was in elementary school. So you probably didn't remember this at all.
I watched the game.
I watched it too.
Sean Alexander had 1,880 rushing yards and 28 total touchdowns the year the Seahawks went to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Mediocre numbers.
Let's just go with the more versatile guy. Granted, he had, 15 catches for 73 yards and a touch, but 27 rushing touchdowns in a single season. I mean, this guy for that year was as good as it gets in the running back room, a true throwback. If you're looking to enhance Russell Wilson's game, you put a guy behind him that you can hand the ball off plenty of times. And guess what? Before Sean Alexander became the ghost of Sean Alexander, he was MVP Sean Alexander. And I think that you guys, you little young pups, are – man, I was hoping that there was a 3 choice and we were going to do this because I'm sure I could have swayed one of you with those stats, especially Statosaurus Rex.
Well, you got to look at it this way too. Like, yeah, Sean Alexander was great that year. How good was he over a stretch of time compared to
Super Bowl
Marshawn?
Year. I'm talking Super Bowl year.
All right,
that's what we're talking. We're talking about Super Bowl. We're talking about
Marshawn. The year that they won it was the most dominant back in the league.
That's true.
Like, what do you mean? He was busting off big runs that year. He mowed people over. I don't know what you want from me. Jesus, like 15, Marshawn Lynch was the 1,500
total. If we were like doing a poll and you said running back A, 1,500 yards and 16 total TDs, and you said running back B, 1,900 total yards, 28 TDs, what would you pick?
Hey, I just go with my gut. And
you would go with your gut and take the non-production. God. Statosaurus Rex is off of his rocker.
Does the first running back still get the Super Bowl, and does the second one not get the Super Bowl?
The other one
got
goes
him
to the toilet bowl.
Got him.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Going to the next one, fullback room. And we've got 2 options here. We've got Max Strong and Derek Coleman. Lefty, where you going?
Max Strong. He was a true fullback when the fullback position was still alive and well in football. Feel like nowadays it's definitely dwindling out of the game where people will just throw in an extra running back, those types of things. But Max Strong was a beast. Loved when he was even got the ball, he was gonna make a play. So going Mac tough.
Cain, where you at?
I'm also gonna go Max Strong in this position, just because, as you quoted to the Sean Alexander thing, he was a big, as Lefty said, true fullback and a big blocker. So got to go there. Need a big run game, especially in the Super Bowl. You got to keep it balanced and keep them on their toes. So it's just the best pick there. Where are you going, Coach?
I'm also going to go with Max Strong, Pro Bowler Max Strong. So
Yeah.
apparently I'm just going to go off the accolades. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. All right, next position. Wide receiver 1. We've got Bobby Ingram or Doug Baldwin. Lefty, where you going?
Dougie B. He was a great athlete and a tremendous route runner. He got so much separation and just made cornerbacks look silly. And he was also more of the time when I was more focused on football and all the ins and outs that came with it. So got to go with Dougie B.
Cain?
So I want you to teach me how to Dougie. We're going Doug Baldwin. To cap on what Lefty said, the dude was unreal. One of the best pair of feet I've ever seen in the league. The dude always made incredible catches, and you can see a lot of him now in Tyler Lockett, who's been basically Doug Baldwin 2.0. But Doug was just the core captain of that receiver room. So have to go with my guy, Dougie B. It's also Dad's favorite player. So that's where I'm going. Coach Red, where are you going?
I'm going to go with Doug Baldwin for his ability to play off script. Mainly, I think in the Super Bowl, you sit there and there's always one or two wacky plays that come up. Russell Wilson is the king of it, and Doug Baldwin was his queen, if you will. If we're playing chess, most important piece on the board for him, because he knew wherever he went on the field that Doug Baldwin was going to be there to come up with a contested catch, just one that no one in their wildest dreams thinks would have been completed. Doug Baldwin is a lock it in clean sweep for us. I think we're going to have some discrepancy of wide receiver too. This is our first 3 option one here. We've got Joe Juravicius, Golden Tate, and Jermaine Curse. Lefty, where you at?
I'm gonna go Jermaine Curse, Lakes High School native. He was one of those guys that if you needed a big play, he was gonna come in clutch. Just like the Super Bowl against the Pats, set him up to be in position to win. And fortunately, it didn't work out. But he made those plays day in, day out. Playoff game against the Packers too, game-winning touchdown. Like, he was that guy that you could just trust was going to make a huge play for you.
Cain, where are you leaning?
I'm also going big play Jermaine. Just for the simple fact is, in big moments in the postseason, he was there. You had the routing of the Denver Broncos where he spun out of 2 guys, got struck. He got lit and spun out of it, ran in for a touchdown. The dude was unreal, and it's the obvious choice for me. Where are you at, Coach Red?
I'm gonna go with a player that you guys probably don't remember because he only played 1 year for the Seahawks, and that's Joe Jurevicius, Browns, Seahawks, and Buccaneers legend. Dude, 6'5". The year they went to the Super Bowl, 10 touchdown catches for a wide receiver two behind Bobby Ingram. Like the dude was a touchdown machine, red zone threat galore. If you look at Russell Wilson in that Super Bowl against the Patriots, Chris Matthews, the hero from the comeback against the Green Bay Packers, had like 100 yards before half. Big play, big body wide receiver. Joe Jurevicius embodies that to a T. I mean, he was clocking in at like 240 pounds too. The dude get down the field, big body, big play, but apparently he doesn't make this team for us. Sorry, sorry, Joey. One
Sorry,
of my
Joe.
favorite players.
Like, again, one of them helped us, to 2 Super Bowls. So just saying.
Yeah, and one of them was a really good receiver who's white at a position that's not primarily that. Like you got have the token guy.
The Seahawks have had a couple of those guys, all right?
Yeah. Speaking of some of those guys, let's go to the tight end room. We've got 3 options here as well. We have Jeremy Stevens, Zach Miller, and Luke Wilson. Lefty, where you going?
I'm leaning towards Jeremy Stevens. When I was a wee young lad, Jeremy Stevens was one of my favorite guys. He was just a big, mean tight end that was just could do it all for the Hawks. I also have his autograph, so have to go with Jeremy Stevens. Jeremy Stevens, jeez, can't speak.
All right, Cain, where you going?
So this one might shock you. I'm not gonna lie, but from what I remember from being that young with that Seahawks season, I'm gonna go with Zach Miller. I feel like Zach Miller was an absolute ball magnet. Every time Hasselbeck threw in his direction, he was hauling it in. It didn't matter. And every time I ever looked at the screen and the ball was going to him, he got it. So, Zach Miller is my pick for our Super Squad tight end. Coach Red, where are you going at the tight end position?
I'm also going to go with Zach Miller because I feel like he was the most complete tight end out of the group. Jeremy Stevens and Luke Wilson were better at catching the ball than they were at blocking. That's the best way I can put it. Zach Miller could just great, and he's going to get you, those 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. He's not going to be a big play guy, big body tight end, but the dude just graded in the run game. And with Russell Wilson's running ability, with Marshawn Lynch finding holes, having a guy that can get downfield, block at the second level is huge and key for me. So lock it in, Zach Miller. Okay, we're going to get to some really tough ones here. The offensive line, left tackle, we have 3 choices. I say that with an asterisk because there's really only one. We've got Walter Jones, Paul McQuiston, and Russell Okung. Lefty, where are you going?
Walter Jones, lock it in. Not much you need to say about him. I mean, he's in the Seahawks Ring of Honor. Great left tackle. Was great for years. Walter Jones.
Cain?
I'm also going to go Walter Jones. He still helps teach the O-line and stuff during like the camps and stuff. And he's worked with a couple of our guys to make them better. But he was the best of the best in his time. Hall of Famer, all of that jazz. Walter Jones is the pick. Coach Red, tell us your pick.
Career Seahawk in the Hall of Fame. Lock it in. Walter Jones. Walter Jones. We don't need to discuss this one. This was the easiest pick on the board, I think.
Yes.
All right. Next position, left guard. We've got Steve Hutchinson and James Carpenter. Lefty, where are you going?
Hall of Famer Steve Hutchinson.
Another tough one.
Yeah. I mean, it all happens on the front line, so I want the best guys there. So, and Steve Hutchinson is one of the best. So lock it in.
Cain, where you going?
Shocker. I'm gonna go Steve Hutchinson as well, just for the simple fact is he was one of the best at his position in the league too, and another tip to the cap of Sean Alexander's MVP year. So gotta go there. Coach Red, where you at?
I'm also going to go with Steve Hutchinson, another clean sweep here. And, in that Super Bowl against the Patriots, guess what? They wouldn't have passed the ball. They would have handed the ball to Sean Alexander and had him run behind Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson and scored a touchdown. And we would have 2 Super Bowl championships. But guess what? We don't live in that world now, do we? We live in the world in the here and now. So, but in this situation, Steve Hutchinson, lock it in. All right, center position. We've got Robbie Tobeck, Max Unger. Lefty.
I'm going with Robbie Tobeck. I mean, he's one of those names that will always be stuck in my head. I feel like the mid 2000s would not be the same without him. So I'm going with Robbie Tobeck.
Cain, where you going?
I'm going Max Unger because that year in his prime window of being a center, Max Unger was a dog. He is kind of like he was kind of like Jason Kelsey is now, right? Always just getting the big push at the front of the line. Max Unger, lock it in. Coach Red, where you at?
I'm also going to go with Max Unger, and I'm going to do so because he was just the ultimate technician. And for the group of guys that we're going to be talking about, Max Unger is the most established guy, the guy that gelled that line together. After this, second Super Bowl, he was traded away for Jimmy Graham, and then you saw the downfall of the Seahawks offensive line. So I think that Unger was a great glue guy and a great technician, and I think that's what I want next to, left side. You got 2 Hall of Famers, you got a super technician in the middle. So Max Unger is the pick for the pod. All right, the next one, we're going to go right guard. We've got Chris Gray or J.R. Sweezy. Lefty, where you going?
I got J.R. Sweezy. He was a Seahawks legend, but was just a workhorse for him. And I mean, that's what you want on your team. So going with J.R. Sweezy.
Cain.
I'm also getting Sweezy with it.
Wow. Whoa.
Get Sweezy with it.
Yeah. To cap on what Lefty said, he was fantastic. It was in that whole line that year was great. Marshawn had a monster year because of it. Lock him in. Coach Red, who you picking?
It ain't easy being Sweezy. He started off as a D tackle in college, gets transformed into a guard, and plays at a level so well that starts back-to-back Super Bowls and goes and gets a big contract. The dude was just mean. He had that mean streak in him, and I mean, this might not be. He might not have been the best pass blocker, but man, could this guy great in the run game. And that's what I want out of my right side. My left side's my more polished side. My right side, I want mean and just go push the pile. So J.R. Sweezy locking it in. All right, we've got our last position here. We have the right tackle. We've got Sean Locklear, Breno Giacomini, Justin Britt. Lefty, where are you going?
I'm going with Justin Britt. He was a mean SOB. Played a few different positions on the line for us. He was just, a huge guy that if you just looked at him, you'd be like, I don't want to mess with that guy. So definitely going with Justin Britt.
Cain.
Justin Britt is also my pick because dude was versatile. He was fantastic. And as Lefty said, he played a couple different positions, especially I think he took over mostly with the center role.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you how you were talking with Max Unger being the glue and everything to that line, that was Justin Britt as well. He was the captain of that O-line, and the dude was a baller. Coach Red, who is your center or right tackle? My bad.
A right tackle is going to be Breno Giacomini, because if you wanted someone to get under the
Holding.
other teams,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll take the hold. But you want to know what else he got? Unsportsmanlike penalty contacts on the defense, because they were so pissed at him. The dude was full of piss and vinegar. I told you on the left side, I got my technicians. On the right side, I'm doing great. And Breno Giacomini got after it in the run game.
The dude
Love
hold
the
up,
trap claw.
Might
such
hold a little bit.
tool.
Might hold a little bit.
A
Okay.
lot of it.
But
He
hey,
was
there's
such a jackass.
yeah. I wanted this. What it's not a team of saints. We aren't in New Orleans here. We're in Seattle. I don't want
He
a
was
jackass on the team.
one of the dudes I absolutely despised on the team, and he looked. I can't say that word, but he looked stupid all the time. He had a dumb fucking look on his face. Oopsie poopsie.
There we go. We're only one away from the
Sorry.
I think we're almost done.
But God, dude, I hated that dude. I hated him.
I wasn't a big fan of Giacomini either.
Yeah, he even has mean in his name. God,
True.
why wouldn't you pick him? All right. Next, we're gonna go a little off tangent here. We're gonna go with the offensive coordinator. We've got two options here. We've got Gil Haskell and much maligned Daryl Bevel. Where are we going?
I'm going with Daryl Bevel, because I honestly didn't know who Gil Haskell was. And although people did not like the way Daryl Bevel made play calls, I think
That's just Super
called
Bowl.
plays,
Twice.
yeah. He still led that offense to a Super Bowl.
Back to back.
Yeah, so you can't, as much as you can want to hate on the guy, like, it's there. It's just laid out there for you. So going with Daryl Bevel.
Cain, where are you going?
I'm also going Daryl Bevel, even though I'm not a huge fan of him. He did get us to back-to-back Super Bowls, as you said, and the offense ran pretty smoothly. It was a lot of playmakers on the team that made stuff happen. So I go Daryl Bevel. Who you got, Coach Red?
I'm also going Daryl Bevel, and he wasn't the best in big moments, as seen by the play call that led to the interception at the end of the game against the Patriots. But for the most part, he put the Seahawks in good positions. He knew that the defense was dynamite, and he was turnover adverse, which I think is huge. And it's something that when the Seahawks are running well, they aren't turning the ball over on offense. And the Seahawks really didn't do that much under Daryl Bevel. He gets a bad rap, but he's done well at other spots. You know, takes over Jacksonville, has a little bit of success also with the Lions, I believe. So he's been at some places with younger or less talented squads and has gotten pretty good production out of the offense. But he gets much maligned for the infamous pick.
Yeah.
All right. And then we're also going to go with a head coach. We got two options here, Mike Holmgren and Pete Carroll. Lefty, where are you going?
I'm going with Pete. I loved Mike Holmgren, but Pete, it seems like he loves his players, like, is genuine dude, and you didn't see much of that from Mike. So I think you want a head coach that the players enjoy playing for, and someone that cares about you. So I'm going with Pete.
Cain.
I'm also going with Pete, but I think it's debatable on the players liking him with the whole debacles that have coming off recently. But Pete Carroll with that squad, when we went and faced the Denver Broncos, he meshed well. He was that fun coach coming out of college. The players did end up loving him then. And I just think with this superstar squad, you want Pete Carroll at the helm. Coach Red, where you got it?
I'm also going with Pete Carroll because I agree with Lefty. I think the players liked him because he let players be who they were.
Mhm.
And he had the same message, and it got tired of some guys. But you can look right now. I think a lot of it was with him keeping the bubble wrap on Russell Wilson. As soon as Russell Wilson left, Richard Sherman's back at camp. You have all these. You got Michael Bennett coming back to camp this last year. So you have all these guys where they criticize Pete. Now they're back in the building and helping out. I think there was
The only person who's not going to be Earl Thomas.
yeah.
So-
Well, I don't think Earl Thomas is going to be at any football field.
No.
So I don't think he's allowed within 100 feet of him. Whoa.
Ouchie.
Sorry, not sorry. All right. Well, that's all we had planned. But guess what? Since we are talking about the Super Bowl and we have 2 episodes, there's got to be a halftime show. So if you're having the ultimate halftime show, who is your headliner? Lefty.
Oh, geez. Let's go Snoop Dogg.
Okay.
I think he's a good entertainer, good performer.
Cain.
Can I be funny with this, or do I have to be serious
You can
about
do
it?
whatever you want. It's your halftime show.
I want good old Coach Trustin out, and I want him to do a jump around.
That'll work. You got to do an actual artist.
Damn it!
It's not karaoke halftime.
Give me Maroon 5.
Oh, okay.
Maroon 5 is a great show.
Yeah.
So, Coach Red.
So for me, Super Bowl. What do you have at the Super Bowl? You have parties. So I want someone that's going to bring the party. And I think one guy that really does that right now is Luke Combs. You know, you do not see a whole lot of country artists rocking the halftime show, but with Chris Stapleton absolutely nailing the national anthem, I think that it's time to get a country artist out there. And if you want someone that's going to hype up the crowd and probably drink, I don't know, a couple beers during the performance, Luke Combs is your guy. But who knows? Maybe I could be your guy. Maybe Lefty could be your guy. Or it could even be Killingcain. You don't know. Unless you follow us on social medias and let us know if we're your guy. So hop on over to Twitter. Find me at The Real Coach Red. On Instagram at The Real _Coach Red. Check out the YouTube page, The Real Coach Red. Or Kicking In with Coach Red. Bell notifications, thumbs up, likes, comments, smash them all. Do it. Or Lefty France, where are you at?
Follow me on Twitter at Lefty France, on Instagram at DFrance13. Go over and follow the pod on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Red Pod. Did I already say that one?
Do it again.
Yeah. Follow us. Do it.
Cain, where are you at?
You can find me on Twitter and YouTube at Killingcain.
Follow him. Do it.
You won't do it.
You won't.
Hey, and as always, stay fresh.
Stay fresh, peeps.
Peace.